Hi, everybody. That's me, Rudy. Well, that's not me, but. Can I get another round of applause for Jonathan Gold, please? I was telling Jonathan, I was sitting next to him here in front, and I was telling him that, how many people have seen City of Gold? Okay, good amount, okay. So I was telling him how much I appreciated the movie, because in the movie, what the movie did, at least for me, is it really showed us how much Jonathan loves Los Angeles. And the way that he presents food in his writing and when he presents in person, you can really tell that he's trying to make food accessible to people, which is what I'm going to talk about. And he also cares about the people behind the food in the neighborhoods. And I heard even in what you said right now, Jonathan, the places. And that's just, it means a lot to people like me that work really hard to make places like LA a good place for everybody to live. So thank you very much, sir. So I'm here to talk about the lack of access in food. And so I have an agenda because I really want to make sure that everybody takes a little piece of knowledge with them today from this presentation. It's a goal that I always try to set some goals here. The first goal is that I want to introduce you to me. And my second goal is to identify the problem here in the city of LA. And then what I'd like to do is conclude with a couple of case studies. How does that sound? Sounds good? Okay, cool. So who's Rudy? I'm an urban planner. I love cities. I've studied cities. I love communities. I love neighborhoods. I love people. And that's what my career is about, is building strong communities, strong neighborhoods. I'm the executive director of Leadership for Urban Renewal Network. LEARN is our acronym and what we go by. And what we do there is we bring people together to build strong communities through advocacy and through economic development initiatives. And I also have the privilege of serving as a board chairman of the LA Kitchen, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a second. I love cities. I shared that. I'm really passionate about economics, inequality, and poverty. And I'll tell you guys why I'm so passionate about these things. But the last thing I put here, you can see, is that I don't consider myself a foodie. The people that know me really well know that I'm really picky with my food. I eat the same food every single day almost. And I've kind of fell into this whole food thing the last few years because of some of the things that I'm going to share with you. So why am I here? And why am I talking about food? Well, what I've learned through my work as an urban planner and the work that I've done through my organization is that food impacts everything. Food impacts our environment, our economy, our personal health. It touches every piece of our life. All of us eat food, obviously. But to me, food serves not only as an opportunity for us to enjoy ourselves and for sustenance and for us to be healthy, it also can be an important platform for social justice. Okay? Does that make sense? I think that the arena of food is an opportunity for us to talk about things that are happening in our society that sometimes we brush away. So what's going on in Los Angeles? What's going on in the city? I took this photo. This is in South Central of a strip mall. You see them everywhere, and it was a beautiful sky. But I'm always just fascinated with the built environment in the city. Los Angeles, this is what's happening in LA. Los Angeles is home to one of the largest populations of food insecure people in the country. For those folks that don't know what food insecurity is, it means that people don't know if they're going to get that next meal, or they're on the verge one step away from being hungry and not having food. LA, where we are today, has the most people in this situation. 1.5 million people don't have enough money to buy enough food in Los Angeles, according to Feeding America, a national organization that's trying to address these things. And 12% of people are food insecure, even though they're living above the poverty line. So these are people that, hey, you know what, they're technically not poor, according to the federal government, but they still don't have enough money to get food on their table in a consistent way. And even though, and I know you guys heard about this earlier, even though some people might say, well, we got to worry about food supply, and the fact is we have a lot of food, but we're throwing away almost half of it, and that's a problem. I really want people to absorb this issue of food access and the fact that a lot of people cannot get the food that we had for lunch today. So I wanted to illustrate a couple of things. You may have heard in your work, food deserts and food swamps. Many communities in Los Angeles are considered food deserts. That means they don't have access to mainstream grocery stores. Some other communities are considered food swamps. There's a lot of terms here. And these are communities that actually do have food near them, but it's probably terrible food, or it's probably expensive, or it's probably hurting you in some way. In neighborhoods like South LA, where my organization does a lot of work, 73% of food establishments are fast food. 73%. That's a major issue here, okay? And even though South LA has 1 million people that live in the swath of South LA has 1 million people that live there, we don't have enough grocery stores. People are relying on fast food joints to get their food. They're relying on small convenience stores where the food is terrible and the food is expensive. If you walk by a corner store that's next to a convenience store, you see the rush of kids after school to get their flaming hot Cheetos and their sugary drinks. Do people see this in their neighborhoods? Is this something that's happening? Do you sort of, I know that a majority of us probably see this in some way, but what I'd like for you to do is really let it sit with you for a second, that this is a problem. So what is this doing to us, this situation? People are getting sick, and people are dying as a result of this. The rate of things like diabetes, obesity, and poverty is 3 times higher in South LA than in West Side communities. 3 times higher. And this is one of the things that really hit a nerve for me, is that half of Black and Latino kids born today will develop diabetes. Half. Black and brown kids are getting diabetes, okay? And so this is as a result of systemic issues that are taking place in our food industry and in the way that we're building our communities and the way that we're making food accessible to people. Does that make sense? The fact that people can't get food, affordable, healthy food in their communities, is making them sick and is actually killing them. So, part of the problem, I think, is economics. I think, obviously, the reason why people can't get good food is because they don't have enough money. And the irony of it is that a lot of low-income people work in the food industry. We know that, in general, 1 in 7 people work in the food industry. And we also know that folks, we have high unemployment in our communities. But the crazy thing about it is that even if you do work in the food industry, sometimes we're not getting paid well. My mom is a waitress, and she struggled a lot, and she still struggles to make ends meet and to pay her bills. Okay? Imagine if you have 2 or 3 kids, and you're making the average $8.89, which is the average nationally for a person in the food industry. These are the people that are preparing our food, that are making our nice salads, that are pouring the sparkling water that I enjoy. You know what I mean? So this is kind of crazy. It's crazy that we live in a society where 1 million people in the city of Los Angeles don't have access to a grocery store, and even for the folks that do work in the grocery store, they don't even have enough money to buy the product that they could probably access. Many contradictions. Okay? Are you guys depressed yet? Okay, so these are some principles that I believe that this is what drives my work, is I believe that everyone should have access to good food, period. Everybody should. Everybody should have an awesome cold brew, should have sparkling water, should have kale on their plate. They should be able to have the products that we enjoy here in places like this, okay? And there's a lot of research that makes a connection, that if we are able to get good food into the hands of people, it's going to make them healthier, it's going to help our economy. But you know what? The fact is that change is slow. And we can't continue to do the things that we're doing. We have to think outside the box. We have to be creative. That's kind of where I'm landing at in my career, is that we really need to shake some things up, and we need to think radically about how we're going to change these things. Because again, every single day, Black and brown kids are being born, and half of them are going to get diabetes if we don't do anything. Okay? So let me tell you about a couple of case studies. So obviously, I'm sharing you case studies that my organization and my colleagues are involved in. The first one is about street vendors. Who patronizes street vendors? A lot of folks, okay. So the first case study is the LA Street Vendor Campaign. So you're like, okay, we're talking about food access. What does street vendor have anything to do with it? So, one of the things that I think that's important is that one of the ways to address these issues is by policy. And sometimes these food issues, these food access issues are exacerbated by bad policy. And one of the things that struck me many years ago is the fact that Los Angeles is the only major city in this country that does not have a permit system for sidewalk vendors. We do not have a permit system for sidewalk vendors. So that means that every person that you see on the sidewalk, rainbow umbrella person cutting up fruit, the lady that's making your tacos, all those folks are not permitted in the city of Los Angeles, okay? Even the lady out front selling paletas, she's technically illegal, you know? So, these are things that we have to fix. I mean, these are really good people that are working hard. Let me show you some photos here in a second. So why do street vendors matter to somebody like me? I believe that street vendors can be an important opportunity to get better food into communities, okay? In some cases, it's the only place where people can get fruit from, okay? And the street vendors can make our neighborhoods more vibrant. And some recent research showed that they generate $504 million in economic activity for the city of Los Angeles, yet we're criminalizing them. People are getting thrown in jail, their stuff is getting confiscated or thrown away, and there's even reports of some people getting deported and put in ICE proceedings because of what they're doing, okay? So here are some photos, I see vendors. This is actually on Slauson on an unused rail line, and there's a barbacoa entrepreneur that's hustling, and this place I took this picture a long time ago. It's way crowded, and I think they added an extra tent. Some other entrepreneurs that I'm sure many of you have seen on the street that are hustling. These are oftentimes older workers that don't have another opportunity, and they're taking it upon themselves to cook and to prepare food and get it out on the street to sell to folks. And in a lot of these communities, it's interesting to see even the Carl's Jr. sign behind this street vendor. These are the only opportunities that people have to get snacks and to get food. I like these pictures because it shows how street vendors are activating public space. On the left, this senora gets there every single day in the morning in Boyle Heights on Whittier, and she has a broom, and she sweeps the sidewalk. She prepares her open-air restaurant, and she has her customers that go and kick it on the sidewalk. She is a criminal and gets busted from time to time. Some other fruit vendors here next to some fast food joints. So you guys get the picture. This is a problem, and I think that we should try to fix it, especially in the context of food access. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a citywide, we're part of a citywide campaign to legalize street vending. There's a coalition of over 60 organizations. This is a current thing where we're trying to create a permit system for sidewalk vendors. This is the current situation right now. Some people might say, well, I saw a permit on my fruit vendor lady. Well, she got a health department permit. But the fact is, in the city of Los Angeles, there's no permit that's giving her the right to sell on the sidewalk. And that's why people are getting busted, and that's the gap that we're trying to fill. Does that make sense? So this is our policy proposal. We're trying to create a citywide system. We're worried about that food access issues, and so we want to create an incentive program so vendors that want to sell healthy food will get some incentives from the city as part of this policy. We want to provide technical assistance. We want to have responsible enforcement so they're not criminalized. And we think that this is a great opportunity for a city like Los Angeles. And we've done a lot of outreach work, talking to vendors, having town hall meetings, a lot of activism to do this. And this is a current thing. And I'm going to skip to the action step. Because right now, we're in a current situation with one of our councilmen that has not scheduled the next hearing for this issue. And we need everybody's help to call him. There's his phone number. To call Councilman Buscaino and say, hey, this is an important issue for the city of Los Angeles. Can you just schedule this hearing? There's been hundreds and thousands of people that have put in public testimony saying that they want this, and we have not, he's ignoring us. And the reason why is because it has to do with black and brown people, and that makes me pissed. We need to fix that. Okay, so more photos, families coming out, it's cool. So second case study really quick is the LA Kitchen. As you know, I'm the board chairman of the LA Kitchen. The LA Kitchen is another out-of-the-box strategy to figure out what we can do about these food access issues. There's Robert Egger, the guy in the middle next to, I forgot her name, but she's awesome. So sometimes food access issues require creative thinking and entrepreneurism, and I know there's a lot of entrepreneurs here, and so it requires your energy to solve these things. So the LA Kitchen believes that neither food nor people should ever go to waste. Do you guys get that? Food nor people should go to waste. Okay? And this is what the LA Kitchen is doing. There's a three-pronged approach. The first one is Empower LA, which is training people that have been formerly incarcerated or just got out of foster care to get jobs in the culinary arts. They're training them in a kitchen in Lincoln Heights to do this. The second initiative of LA Kitchen is to recover food so it doesn't go to waste and prepare that food and get it out to people that need it. And then the third initiative is a social enterprise called Strong Food, where we're engaging the folks that we're training to sell food through contracts to cities, to senior centers, to healthcare agencies all over the city. This is an important opportunity for us to change the way that we're operating and feeding people by creating a sustainable way for us to make money so it could go back into the system to make sure that we're training people. It's very powerful. This is a map of the kitchen. It's in Lincoln Heights. If anybody's interested in going, just hit me up and we can do a tour. It's really awesome. This is some scenes from the kitchen itself. And some of these people are so amazing. I met a guy a couple years ago who went through the training program, and he was in prison 2 years prior, and he was reading a magazine where he saw Roy Choi. And he's like, I would love to work with somebody like that. I just don't see myself ever getting to that place. I'm locked up. Sure enough, at the event where I met him at, he was right next to Roy Choi cooking for the party. And LA Kitchen is offering these opportunities to people that we believe can really contribute to our society. We need to give them a shot. So one of the focuses we have is senior meals. I'm going to skip all those facts that are really sad too. And this is the current situation. So the aging of our city is super important. We're getting older, and nobody's caring about our elders. And the LA Kitchen is trying to pivot to this. So this is what our seniors are eating right now. Who wants to eat that right now? Who wants to grub on this right here? Doesn't look that tasty. The LA Kitchen is trying to flip the model to make sure that all the food that comes out of the LA Kitchen is good. And this is kind of an example of some of the things that the seniors are getting through Strong Foods or social enterprise arm. Really, it's a whole different model, super exciting, and it's an example of what we can do if we think outside the box. So, there's a quote, it's really good. The food you eat can either be the safest and most powerful form of medicine or the slowest form of poison. And I'm really learning this. I think it's really, really important for all of us to take it to heart. So last final thoughts. You could read that, but at the end of the day, we got to come together, people. And I want us to be mad. I really want us to be pissed. Who listens to Rage Against the Machine? I don't know who does. Okay, got a couple people. So Zach de la Rocha, in one of his songs, says, anger is a gift, and I really believe that. And what drives this work for me is the fact that I'm so upset that the black and brown kids today that are being born, half of them are going to get diabetes because of what they're getting fed in our communities. It's not fair. It's not cool. It's not just. And everybody that's here has a role to play in that. Okay? So thank you.